Rory, we picked up a few injuries at the weekend, but the squad's in a good place looking ahead to Toulouse.
Yeah, they are. Look, it's unfortunate, and you never like to lose people to injuries, but that's just the way it goes. And they're quality players, and all of them were playing well and really hitting some serious form, coming into a busy period for us. But I think we can't sort of look back and linger on what might have been and who we might have had this weekend. It's a great opportunity for those guys coming in. They have set a very high standard with their performances, especially over the last number of weeks, those guys. So it's up to whoever comes in to pick up that baton and make sure that they're better. And you get this opportunity, and it's ultimately up to the player how he responds to it. And I know with the sort of players we have and the sort of personalities you have, is that they'll see it in the right way, and that it's a challenge, and it's a challenge that they'll relish and hopefully push on and improve Ulster Rugby and try to move on and get the win on Friday night, which is what we want.
And the win over Edinburgh, obviously you watched from the sidelines, but how pleasing was it for you to see them dig in and get the result?
Yeah, look, I think it was good. I think in terms of the way, obviously the Saracens game and disappointing, and probably there's elements of the first half against Leinster, but I think the way we actually went out and took the game to Leinster in the second half, the way we defended and brought that into the Edinburgh game, and we looked like a team that knew what they were about, knew where they wanted to go, and against Edinburgh it was kind of just one of those where let's get the win and let's make sure that we can take the confidence from that. I think the way we played, we were a lot better than a 7-point victory, but there was maybe just that little bit of the nagging doubts that come with losing 2 in a row, but we've thankfully sort of got that monkey off our back because we got the win, and it's now about pushing forward, enjoying our rugby and enjoying what are special nights in terms of Europe at home.
And obviously very few easy games nowadays in professional rugby, but to lose 4 times champions in Europe is far from that.
Yeah, no, look, they're I think they're the most successful team in Europe, and they're that for a reason. You look where they're sitting second or third in the top 14. They've won their home game. They've done what sort of everyone wants to do in Europe, not the first round. They've won their home game, so they'll feel they're sitting reasonably strong there. And I think even if you haven't seen anything of them this season, when you look down their team sheet right throughout it, they're littered with stars, and it's it's going to be a challenge. But I think for us it's important, and I know the boys will look at it in a positive way, in that it's a really good challenge that when we come out the right side of it on Friday night, there'll be a real sense of achievement about it.
And it has the potential to be a really exciting and a iconic night at Kingspan Stadium again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think European games here over the years have been very, very special. I think we probably didn't come up to our billing the last time out against Saracens. I think the crowd were there and they were waiting for something to get behind, and we just didn't give it. And I think for us it's important that hopefully we'll get a sellout stadium this weekend, and it's important that we give them something to get behind. We want to recreate some of the special nights that there's been in Europe. I think it's also would be important and great if the crowd could come out and really show the support and really give us that lift that the 16th man can give. And I remember really special nights here in Europe, and you don't remember a whole lot about the rugby, but you remember a lot about the atmosphere. So if we can recreate something like that, especially against French oppositions, it can be more difficult for them.